Do I put this politely? I am super disappointed in California policymakers, frustrated with us, the populace, that we tolerate it because our policymakers a felony. But before we passed it, in typical hypocritical California fashion, we gutted the bill and prostitution with minors a felony. Not for the minors, for the people who do it. The supposed law. Uh, okay, let your moral outrage subside and let's just look at it. What validation do they, which is a nice way of saying the human traffickers? Okay, and the deeper problem is how disconnected our policymakers are from what's truly happening on the ground, unless they aren't, in which case it is what it is. They want the policy to continue. It was after hearing expert testimony about what's actually happening on the ground after this series of really, really, really stupid laws. We're basically empowering human trafficking and exploitation of minors, and it's so toxic and completely destructive. This is a protest. This painting is a part of the series of young Portuguese girl, and it was based originally on a painting I did back in the 90s when I was living in Portugal and cutting my teeth as a social entrepreneur, just in my 20s, before I was married. I was working with some ministries, including the faith community and also Teen Challenge, Desafio Jovem. And that was in the midst of the Portuguese heroin epidemic, which is considered, I think, the worst. I don't know how it compares to the modern fentanyl thing, but up to the time it was the worst drug epidemic in Western history. And this girl was part of that. She was not using herself, but her father was addicted, and her mother was dealing with that in her own codependent way. And we helped him as much as we can. And this girl's spirit just spoke to me so deeply, because despite all these horrific circumstances she was in, she had so much strength. She was so vivacious and always filled with joy and running around, disrupting everything. I mean, but not in a mean way, just in a lively way. Fortunately, I haven't had contact with her. She must be in her 30s now. But I know she overcame. She's an advocate and making her world better. We need to listen to those who are on the ground who actually know. And when we do listen, we have to hear. Come on, folks, let's do better, California. Now, the silver lining for me is this is so bad. I believe we're starting to hit rock bottom as a society, and the fact that our policymakers are doing such a horrible job, I believe, and this is what I'm working for, Californians are standing up and are going to start demanding better. And we're also being entrusted with technological tools, and we're using our brains and our savvy to solve these issues, make the whole system more transparent, create tools that tools to engage in democracy that have never been there before, to empower these young people, these advocates on the ground who know the truth, who have lived experience and have data and have proven concepts to show what's working and what isn't, what are the true results of our policy. We're going to empower them and we're going to do better. And I think this is just one more step, getting that critical community that is the advocates of tomorrow, the leaders of tomorrow, who are starting today, this is just one more step to say, this is rock bottom, man. We've got to change something. And we're going to change, and we're going to make it better.